Adam Smith is probably the most famous economist who ever lived. His book, The Wealth of Nations, is still one of the most influential works in human history. But here's what most people don't know. While Adam Smith laid the foundation for modern economics, the Austrian School both builds upon his ideas and corrects some of his most important mistakes. Today, we will explore the basics of Smith's theories and see how they influenced the later Austrian School. I'll explain who Adam Smith really was, what his key ideas were, why he is still important today, and where the Austrian economists, starting with Carl Menger, took a decisive step further. Let's begin. Adam Smith was born in 1723 in Kirkcaldy, Scotland. At the age of 14, he began his studies at the University of Glasgow 6. In 1740, he received a scholarship to Oxford University. To earn a living, Smith lectured in Edinburgh on rhetoric, philosophy, history, and law. He was a close friend of David Hume and was deeply influenced by the ideas of individual liberty and reason. In 1776, the same year as the American Declaration of Independence, he published his masterpiece, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. This book was revolutionary. For the first time, someone systematically explained how wealth is created in society. Smith argued that the wealth of a nation does not come from gold and silver in the king's treasury, but from the productive labor of its people. Now that we've taken a look at Adam Smith's early years and academic career, let's delve deeper into the ideas that made him one of the most influential thinkers of his time. Smith's three biggest contributions were: first, the division of labor. Smith showed how specialization dramatically increases productivity. In his famous example of a pin factory, 10 workers using division of labor could produce thousands of pins per day, while one man working alone could barely make one pin. Example: let's imagine that a factory produces cars. Instead of each worker building the entire car from A to Z, everyone specializes in a specific task. One assembles the wheels, another installs the engine, a third is responsible for the paintwork. So each worker has a clearly defined, often simple task. Adam Smith's example, the pin factory. Smith illustrated the division of labor using the example of a pin factory. In a factory where several workers work together to make pins, they not only produce more pins, but are also more efficient because each worker can focus on a specific part of the process. Third, free markets and limited government. Smith was strongly against mercantilism, the idea that governments should control trade and protect domestic industries. He advocated for free trade, competition, and a government limited mostly to defense, justice, and basic public works. Despite his genius, Adam Smith had some important flaws according to later economists, especially the Austrians. Most importantly, Smith believed in the labor theory of value. He thought the value of a good comes from the amount of labor required to produce it. This idea was later taken up by Karl Marx and became the foundation of socialist economics. The Austrian School, beginning with Carl Menger in 1871, completely rejected this. Menger introduced the subjective theory of value, the idea that value is not determined by labor or cost, but by how much a person subjectively values a good at a certain moment. Another limitation: Smith did not fully understand the role of the entrepreneur and the problem of knowledge. It was Friedrich Hayek who later explained that no central authority can ever possess the dispersed knowledge that millions of individuals have in a free market. So how should we view Adam Smith today from an Austrian perspective? We should see him as a great pioneer. He defended individual liberty, free markets, and limited government at a time when most people still believed in kings and state control. Without Smith, the Austrian School would not exist. However, the Austrians took his ideas further and corrected them. Carl Menger, Ludwig von Mises, and Friedrich Hayek completed what Smith started by developing a more consistent, realistic, and logically sound theory of economics based on human action and subjective value. In short, Adam Smith built the house. The Austrian School furnished it and fixed the cracks in the foundation. Adam Smith remains one of the most important thinkers in history. His ideas about free markets, the division of labor, and the invisible hand laid the foundation for modern economics. Understanding him is the best possible starting point. However, while Smith was a pioneer, the Austrian school took his ideas further and corrected some of their weaknesses, especially regarding the subjective nature of value and the limits of central planning. Both Smith and the Austrians strongly agree on one fundamental point. Markets work best when they are free from excessive government interference. They both emphasize individualism, voluntary exchange, and the power of entrepreneurship. Yet in today's world of central banks, endless money printing, and growing state control, the Austrian school offers the clearest, most consistent, and most realistic framework to understand what is really happening. Next week, we will dive deep into Carl Menger, the man who truly founded the Austrian School of Economics. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Comment below. What do you think was Adam Smith's greatest contribution? I read every single comment. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay free, and I'll see you in the next video.